Say that enough is enough, that lives matter everywhere, Black lives matter, brown lives matter, all lives matter.
Well, in other news, remember there was 260 lorries which were not allowed entry into Ukraine that were carrying aid from Russia? Well, according to Ukraine border guards, inspectors have arrived to check the cargo bound for cities in eastern Ukraine held by pro-Russian rebels. Ukraine fears the convoy may carry military supplies for the rebels, and that's an accusation Russia has rejected. Yesterday, two reporters said they saw Russian army vehicles heading into Ukraine into rebel-held territory.
A roundtable emergency meeting of EU foreign ministers are in Brussels to discuss Iraq, Gaza, and Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian border guards crossed the Ukrainian-Russian frontier today to inspect a huge Russian aid convoy. Dozens of heavy Russian military vehicles massed near the border with Ukraine, while Ukrainian border guards crossed the frontier to inspect a huge Russian aid convoy. Kiev has said the humanitarian aid might be used as cover for a Russian military intervention and has insisted that its forces check the convoy before it moves across the border. Moscow has denied any ulterior motives, but has allowed Ukrainian border guards to enter Russia and look at the caravan of trucks in an area opposite the frontier town. The head of the ICRC operation for Europe and Central Asia, Laurent Kobaz, said that the Ukrainian border guards and customs officers began checking the convoy.
A team of customs officials and border guards are right now, Ukrainian border guards and custom officers are right now in Russia, starting to have a look at the convoy in the city of Kamensk-Shaktinsky, where it is. The convoy which left Moscow had approximately 2 or 3 people on each truck. It's a lot of people. The agreement between the Russian Federation and Ukraine forces that only the driver comes into Ukraine. The one driver. The accompanying person, they stay behind in Russia, and they are replaced by ICRC delegate. We plan to have the trucks unloaded in Lugansk.
On Thursday, August 14, the convoy of some 280 trucks stopped in open fields near the Russian town of Kamensk-Shaktinsky, about 20 kilometers from the border in front of Izvarin, which is under the control of pro-Russian separatists.
We plan to have the trucks unloaded in Lugansk. And then they go back to Russia the same road they came in. From then onwards, it will be ICRC with Ukrainian logistics that deals with the distribution.
Kiev and NATO have said they fear Russia, which they say has massed more than 40,000 troops near the border, will invade East Ukraine. Russia says it is conducting military exercises and has no plans to invade. It also denies supporting rebels in eastern Ukraine with arms and funds. The United States and the European Union have imposed sanctions on Russia over its role in East Ukraine and the earlier annexation of Ukraine's region of Crimea, in what has become the worst crisis in relations between Moscow and the West since the Cold War.
Now, India might be doing some celebrating today as regards its independence, but the Prime Minister Narendra Modi deems it a time in which the country ought to be deeply ashamed based on the recent spate of rapes. He called on parents to take responsibility for their sons' actions, saying they must teach them the difference between right and wrong. Mr. Modi, who led his party to victory in this summer's general election, addressed the nation from the 17th century Red Fort in Delhi. There were 2 firsts which occurred today, as he did not read from a prepared text, and for the very first time in many years, the Prime Minister did not stand behind a bulletproof screen. Now to the lighter side of life. If you love art and water, here's something for you. Today, Sydney Harbour had an unusual visitor. It was Alpha Turtle, a 15-meter-long inflatable turtle with a striking contemporary design, and that was drawing a lot of attention to a new underwater exhibition of art at Sydney Aquarium. Alfie, as the turtle is known, is the creation of B.J. Price, whose works are all inspired by the Great Barrier Reef. The artworks have been waterproofed and placed amongst the fish and sharks for the month-long exhibition. Well, I do not know why they decided not to show you Alpha Turtle. Maybe someone doesn't like turtles, and a member of our crew or something, but I'll find out what happened. That's it on The World Today. Thank you for watching. I'm Cynthia Are. Up next is Sports News.